Hello everyone. So in this video we're going to learn about flow control. So basically whenever a program get executed, so the execution order will from top to bottom. Okay. So as a programmer, if you want to manipulate the flow of the program, you can use these flow controls. So based on the behavior, I have categorized this flow control into three. The one first one is selection, the second one is iteration, the third one is the control transfer. So under selection you will see four flow controls, which are if else if block and switch block. Okay, and in the iterations you will see while, do while, for. Yeah, so before we talk about iterations, so in selection, when you will use this flow control, so whenever, if based on a condition, suppose if you the condition is met and if you want to execute a piece of code, then you can go with these flow controls, selection flow control. Okay, and coming to iterations, so suppose if you want to execute a piece of code multiple times, say 10 times, no need of copying the same code 10 times to get your requirement done, but instead of that you can have that piece of code in a loop and just say that you want to execute this code 10 times. Okay, so we can achieve this using these loops: while loop, do while loop, for loop, and for each loop. We'll discuss about while, do while, and for using some program, but for each loop, which is the enhanced for loop, we are going to discuss this only during the collection and generics topic. Okay, yeah. So coming to the next flow control, which is control transfer. So suppose during the program execution, you don't want to execute a piece of code or some condition is met. If you want to quit the loop, or if you want to quit the code which is beneath some statement, so if the condition is met and after that you want to skip that particular code for that particular iteration. Yeah, or you whenever the program execution or a piece of code is executed, you want to return some value, okay, from the method. So in that case you can use this flow controls. These are statement: break, continue, and return. Okay, so we'll discuss about this in the upcoming program. Yeah, the try, catch, and final, these are the these are also a kind of flow control, but we'll discuss this during the exception handling concept and not in this video. Okay, yeah. So let's try the selection flow control first. Yeah, so in this class I have a main method and have declared a few instance variable. And yeah, so we'll discuss about the we'll discuss about loop first. Okay, yeah, discuss about the iteration first, then we'll go with the selection, and then we'll go with the control transfer. Okay, yeah. So the first loop, we'll discuss about the for loop. So this is the syntax of the for loop. So my requirement is to print the values from 0 to 9. Okay, so how we can use this for loop? Okay, so if you see the syntax, the first section, you have three sections, right? So the first section, you are declaring a local variable which is local to this for loop, and you are saying you have initialized that variable to 0, and you are saying I less than 10. That means you are going to you want this code to be executed, the whatever the code you are writing within the loop should be executed 10 times. Just count the number from 0 to 9, the loop will get executed, so the count will be 10. So 10 times your loop will get executed. Okay, and this is the increment of your variable. So for every iteration, by what value the I variable should get incremented. Okay, so that particular code you can write it here. This is a small expression which we have in this section. So these are the three section in the for loop: initialization, condition, and increment or decrement. It can be increment or decrement. See, these two may not be required for each for loop. These are optional based on your need. If you want a variable to be initialized during your for loop, yeah, and if you want to increment or decrement that variable by some value, you can do that. If you don't want, do not initialize or do not have this expression here, you can have the condition over here. So the condition will actually say how many times your for loop should get executed. So and means at which condition this for loop should terminate. Okay, if you're not providing this condition, then your for loop will go into the infinite loop. Okay, okay, let's try to execute this for loop, and we'll discuss about the other loops later. Okay, I'm just commenting out the other piece of code which is not needed now. Okay, saving it, and let's try to execute the program, and let's see what is the output. Okay, for now I think I have some error. Where it is. Okay, I think yeah, I have a compilation error. Sorry for that. Yeah, let's try to execute the program now and see what the output is. Okay, I think I have given a wrong variable here. Let's try to print the I value. Okay, because we want this I to be incremented for each iteration, right? Yeah, if you see here, every time the I incremented, uh, you will see this. Okay, the I variable is printed. Okay, so this is what about the for loop, and let's try to understand about the next loop, which is nothing but the while loop. I'm just commenting out the code here. Yeah, and just discuss about the while loop. See the same. Uh, yeah, so the same output I want. So I want the first nine numbers to start from 0 to 9. Okay, so what I have done, I just conveyed that condition should be less than a variable value should be less than 10, and initially the a is initialized to 0. I'm printing that a variable value for each iteration, and let's try to execute this. Oh yeah, and there is one more thing. So every iteration we want to print the a, we want to increment the a value, right? So that's the reason I have used the increment operator. And let's try to execute the program now and see. Yeah, if you see here, the values are printed on the console from 0 to 9. Okay, so this is how the while loop will work, and let's try to understand about the next loop, which is do while. Okay, yeah, so the do while loop, let's use some space so that you will not get confused. Okay, so the next loop is do while loop. So what it will do, so it is slightly different from the other loops. So first of all, if in the for loop or in the while loop, it will first check for the condition. If the condition is true, then only it will execute the code, otherwise it will not. So here the condition is true. When I equal to 0, it will execute this code. Okay, okay, it will come back again here. If there is an increment or decrement variable, it will execute that statement. Here the expression is I plus plus, so the I value will be equal to 1. 1 is less than 10, which is true, and it will execute this code. So on, it will execute till 9 less than 10. I value is 9 less than 10. But when the I value is 10, that time the condition is false and it won't execute. A similar thing will happen for while loop. Okay, So every time it will check for the condition, and we are incrementing that a variable value, and once a reaches to value 10, that time the condition is false and the code will not get executed, and the while loop execution will finish. Okay, but in case of do while, it will first execute the statement and it will then check for the condition. Okay, let's try to execute some piece of code. So suppose, yeah, let's take, okay, I'm just saying, instead of a, okay, let's do this, x is or y is less than x. So I already have two variables, x and y. X is instead to 6 and y is instead to 7. Okay, and now I have a do while loop where in the do section I am saying just print the value, variable value a, when, and iterate this loop when it matches this condition. Okay, so let's try to save this program and we'll execute it and we'll see what is the output. See, the output is 0 here. Okay, I'll tell you what happened. Ideally, when the condition is false, the loop should not execute, but in the do while, for the first time, even though your condition is false, for the first time you do block will get executed, then it will check for the while condition. Okay, so the do while loop, first, even if the condition is false, for the first time the code will get executed, and next time the condition will be false and the while the loop execution will get finished. Okay, so this is the basic difference between a do while and other loops like for or while loop. Okay, so these, so the discussion about the while, do while, or for loop. For each loop, as we said, we'll discuss that during collection and generic topic. Let's discuss about selection. So in the select flow control, first we'll learn about the if block. If you see here in the class main method, I have declared two variables, int x and y, and have initialized the values of this variable to 0 and 7 respectively. So this is the if block, and in this if block, in this section you'll be defining the condition. So if the condition is met, the condition is true, then only the content within the if block will get executed, or else it won't get executed. So here if you see, the value of x is greater than y is what we are checking, but actually they are not, 0 is not greater than 7, so the condition is false. So the this statement won't get executed. If you see here, the output will be empty. Okay, so suppose I have initialized the x variable value to 10. I'm saving the file and running the program again. Let's see what is the output. Now the output is x is largest. Yes, it is true. 10 is greater than 7. Yes, it is true. That's the reason it has printed the value, this string value. Okay, so this is what about the if block. So the disadvantages of if block is, in case of, like, if the condition is false, it is not going to do anything. So for that sake, we have another flow control called if else block. We'll try commenting this code, and yeah, we'll understand what is the if else block. These are the basic thing which we should know. Yeah, let's try to understand what is if else block. If else block. Yeah. Let me just set the indentation. Yeah. So this is the if else block. So what we are doing in the if else block, first we'll check for the condition. So if the condition is true, then it will execute the if block. If the condition is false, then it will execute the else block. Okay, so in our case, what we are doing, like we are checking the x value is greater than y, which is true. That's the reason it will execute this statement. Let's try to, yeah, first we'll execute the program and see what is the output. Yeah, you see the what has printed on the console, x is larger because the condition is true. In case if the condition is false, so I'm just updating the x variable value to 1, and now I'm going to execute this program. But before that, let's try to understand what will happen. So the condition, if the condition is false, then it will execute the else block. Yeah, running the program. Yeah, if you see, the condition is false and is printing this value, right? Y is largest. So this is how the if else block will work. And coming to the next flow control, which is nothing but the if else if blocks, or else if ladder also will call. Yeah, let's try to, yeah, hold on. So I'm just setting up the intention. Yeah, let's see this. Okay, so this is how the if else if block will look like. So first we'll be having the if block and we'll be checking one condition. Okay, so if else if block is kind of a advanced version of the if else block. Okay, so in the if else block we'll be having only, we can check only the condition only once. But in case of if else if block, if there is a need that we need to check multiple conditions, and I mean, for a particular, we have multiple condition, and for a particular condition you have to perform some action, or perform, or you have to execute some code. So in that case, we can actually make use of the if else if block. Okay, so here what I'm doing here is, so in the if block I'm checking for a condition that the x variable value is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, so I want to print that x is positive. If it is less than 0, that case, see this else if block, we can also define the condition here. So I have defined like x should be less than 0, then execute this statement. Okay, and yeah, so you can also have multiple else if condition. Okay, but yeah, you can have multiple else if condition like this, but yeah, but now is no need. That's the reason I'm just going with one else if condition. Yeah, so the next one is the else block. What we are doing in the else block, so if number is not positive nor negative, then obviously the number will be 0, right? That's the reason I have kept that println statement here. Okay, we'll run this program and see what is the output. Now the x variable value is positive. Let's try to run this and check what is the output. X is positive, and let's try to make the variable value as negative and execute the code. Yes, x is negative, so it went under this block. Okay, let's try to make it as 0. Save the file and running it again. Yeah, x is equal to 0. So this is all about the flow control, if else, and the if else if blocks. Next one, yeah, the next one is the switch statement. Let's try to understand using a piece of code. Okay, so basically a switch statement is used when you want to execute a piece of code based on some selection. So the situation is like this: you have a block of code, multiple block of code, and based on some value, variable value, or some condition, you want to execute one particular block which is among the multiple blocks. Okay, so we'll understand through this program. So this is the switch statement. Okay, and I'm saying I'm just passing some variable value a. Okay, and this switch block will have cases. So the case is, the first case is, okay, it is 1. The case is 1. I'm just saying, okay, let's do one thing. Just print that month is January. Okay, and let's try to copy the same and just modify a bit. Okay, let's do one thing. So what I'm doing here is, so into this switch block, I'll be passing some integer values. Say suppose 1, 2, 3. If it is 1, then it should print the month. Okay, if it is 1, it should be January. If it's 2, it should be February, so on. Okay, this is just for the understanding purpose. Okay, let's do this. Okay, and I'm saying break. I'm using break statement after each case. Okay, why we are using this, we'll get into that discussion, but yeah. So just observe this switch block. If you see what is the a variable value is 0. Let's make it as 1 first. Okay, and let's try to comment this code because this discussion is already done, so we know what is if else if block. Yeah, now the time to discuss about switch block, so we'll focus on this. Okay, so what is a switch block? So based on the variable value or based on the input, it will select or it will execute a particular block to a block of code. Okay, it will say that code and it will execute that code. So you have multiple code, right? A block of code. So which is case 1, case 2, case 3. Among this, you want to execute only one particular block of code based on some input. Okay, so here your input is 1. So which case will match among the 3 cases? The first case will match and it will execute the code. Okay, and why we are, once this get executed, why we are using break statement in a switch statement or in a switch block? So if we are using a break statement, then the code which is below that will not be executed, and the flow will get terminated from the block. It will go to the next line. So this block of code will get executed. Okay, so that is what the use of the break statement inside the switch block. If you are not placing the break statement, even though you have passed 1, it will execute case 2 also. Okay, there is no stopping it. If there is no break statement inside your switch, okay, say suppose you don't have a switch break statement here, you don't have a break statement here, you don't have a break statement here, then even if you pass 1, if you want to execute only one block, but in reality all the blocks will get executed because there is no break statement. So the reason you are using break statement, you are saying that once the case matches and once the code is executed, there is no need to execute any other block, just break the flow. Okay, come out of the this section or this block, switch block. Okay, yeah, so we'll try to execute this code and we'll see what is the output. So the output should be this one, month is January. Let's see, is it matching with the actual output? Yeah, so month is January. Yeah, so what if, yeah, so we have taken 3 cases, 1, 2 and 3. What is if my input is 4? Let's try to execute. There is no such matching case, and now execute this program and see what is the output. See here, there is nothing, so there is no output because none of the case matches. That's the reason the switch block execution completed and nothing has printed on the console. So in case of such cases where none of the case matches, you can run always your default statement. Okay, you can always run the default statement. Let's print something. Let's say number is not valid. That means you have passed the invalid number. So suppose the month value will be from 1 to 12, right? You have passed some 13. Okay, or in your case you are handling only 1, 2, 3, and you are passing fourth value, which is not the expected value. In that case, the default block will get executed. Okay, let's try to run this program and just see what is the output. Yeah, see here, we are passing 4, a is 4, a is 4, value is 4, none of the case is matching, so it will go to default statement. So far we have discussed about selection flow control, iteration flow control. Now what is a control transfer? So we are just going to learn about break, continue and return. Try catch funnel will be covered in exception handling topic. So what is a break statement, and what is the difference between break and continue statement? This is a important question during interviews. So in a loop, okay, so you write a piece of code and you say some condition is met, then you want to terminate the loop. So that case you can use a break statement there in a loop. So once the break statement is encountered, the whole loop execution will get terminated and the flow will go to the next line of code. Okay, in case of continue, once if it encounters a continue statement within a loop, then that particular iteration will get skipped and the next iteration will get executed. Okay, so that is a basic difference between break and continue. Coming to return, so return statements is used to return some value, okay, from a method. It can be string, object or a integer value. Okay, so these are the basic control transfer, break, continue and return, which we need to know. Yeah, so this is all about the flow control part. Hope this helps. We'll meet in the next video. Thank you so much.